Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Cave with me, Jenny. So I was going through Audible and I found a series called Red Winter, and it is based on Japanese mythology. And so I'm definitely interested in listening to it and seeing what this is all about. So I'm going to do that and bring you all along with me. Listened to Red Winter, which is book one in the Red Winter Trilogy. And this is, I guess you'd call it, an urban fantasy. It's, for the most part, set in our world, modern day, but it incorporates a lot of Japanese mythology, specifically the Shinto mythology. And it follows Emi, who is the chosen vessel for one of the kami, or the heavenly gods, in the Shinto religion. And she is basically going through her life learning and practicing how to be the kamigakure, which is what they call the chosen vessel. And I honestly kind of thought she knew the twist, but this whole book basically led up to her learning that, oh wait, she's not going to share the body. Amaterasu is going to take over her body. And so this whole book just kind of dealt with her learning about that and coming to terms with it. I did feel like Emi was a little naive at times, but I also felt like it made sense because what you learn about her upbringing, she was very sheltered because she is this kamigakure, and all the past ones for the 100 years have died before Amaterasu was able to descend and take over. And so they really want to protect her so that Amaterasu can finally descend and keep the balance and everything. And then we do meet some creatures from Japanese mythology. We have the kitsune, Shiro, who is somebody who can turn into a fox and can also control flames. And I love the fact that in his human form he still has fox ears. I just find that very amusing. And I find the banter between him and Emi to be pretty amusing as well. At one point she tells him that he has the manners of a dog, and he responds with, well, same family. And that's kind of how their banter is throughout this whole book. And I'm definitely interested to learn more about different yokai and more about Shiro's past and more about what all these different plans are that have been hinted at. My main complaint is that I do feel like some of the writing is a little oversimplified and some of it does drag out a little too long. But overall, if you're in the mood for like a kind of light fantasy, this will definitely hit the spot for that. And it was still enjoyable, despite the fact that it did have a few flaws. So Dark Tempest picks up right where Red Winter left off. And this one was, again, a pretty good series, pretty good book. I do feel like, again, the characters could use a little more depth, but I did like seeing Emi and Yume having a deeper friendship. We do meet some more yokai, and we get a little bit more information about Izunami's plans and so forth. We do learn a little bit more about the past. And so it was interesting overall, and I don't really feel like it suffers from middle book syndrome like some books do, where it's significantly slower than book one. I felt like it was still fast paced and still kept my interest. The narrator, again, kept the really shrill voice for Emmy whenever she would yell, and I just found that rather annoying. And yeah, other than that, I didn't have any issues with the narration. And I enjoy Shiro as a character. I don't feel like he's necessarily the best love interest, but I feel like that's a lot of the things, is that a lot of love interests in books like this do have some issues, and I don't feel like he is as bad as other ones that I've had. He is protective, but he's also protective within reason. So, yeah, like I said with the last book, if you enjoy kind of like a light fantasy, if you enjoy some romance in the fantasy, this has been a pretty fun series so far that has the fantasy vibes, but there's not a overabundance, I'll put it that way, of world building. There's enough world building that you understand it, but it's not to the point where it's like, okay, I'd like to get on with the plot now. So yeah, I'm going to go on and listen to book 3 in this series and see what my overall thoughts of it are, and update you all then. So I finished the Red Winter Trilogy with Immortal Fire, and this one was pretty good. This one had a lot more action than the first 2 books. Not that the first 2 books didn't have a lot of action, but I feel like this one, it was more from the get-go and kind of kept up the pace. And as with the second book, I really enjoy Yume and Emi's relationship, and I love the fact that they continue to be friends. And I do also like the fact that we kind of get an epilogue of sorts. You know, it's set further in the future, and so we kind of get to see some of the aftermath on this, at least on Emmy. And yeah, it's a cute little series if you're into urban romance slash, or I guess I should say urban romantic fantasy, kind of like Our World Meeting Another, then I can definitely recommend this. For sure, the series is not hard fantasy, but it's still really enjoyable, I think, and I really enjoy the inclusion of the Japanese myths and how that is, well, the basis of the stories, really. And I just love how in-depth that is. So yeah, definitely give this a try if you are into that sort of thing. So that's all I have for you this video. As always, if you liked it, please hit like. And if you want to see more bookish content from me, go ahead and hit subscribe. And I will see you back in the book cave with the next video.